What's up, everybody? It's Tuesday, July the 18th, 2017, and it's been 2,871 days since the U beat FSU in football. Um, Talk about a few things today, a little bit of ranting and a little bit of why or why not. So I thought I'd find out why some things are happening and why some things aren't happening. So, we'll see how it goes. Uh, Real quick, just because I had to address it because it just needs to be addressed. Um, Michael Vick's comments concerning Colin Kaepernick and what he needs to do in order to be able to play in the NFL. And unfortunately, Vick did not. He did not assume the gravity of what he said in reference to where he said that Colin Kaepernick should cut his hair. And help change his image so that he could play. And he didn't understand the gravity of that situation. First of all, basically everybody was asking, well, what the hell does his hair have to do with his image? Uh, Anybody who's reading the fine print in that, unfortunately, it's Michael Vick saying it, but what he's basically saying is that if the establishment is perceiving the guy with an afro or in cornrows as a thug or just a fearful black person, I guess. I don't know, but I kind of look at the biblical days when they made Samson cut it, or when Samson cut his hair, and that didn't work out well for him either. The point of the matter is really it's not really a biblical standpoint. The problem is that we've been African Americans have been labeled as this and that based upon a number of things. One being hair, the way we dress, maybe even the way we talk. And I think that's ridiculous. That's probably the most ridiculous thing that anybody could have said in reference to why Colin Kaepernick isn't playing. To say that his numbers aren't good, uh, that's subjective. Um, I guess I don't know what certain circles you would look at to say that his numbers aren't good enough to be a starting quarterback. When, as I mentioned in my video 2 days ago, in the past 3 years, he's probably got better numbers than half the people that are in the league starting quarterback right now. So you can debate that. And then the other thing is about owners not wanting him on there because they're worried about losing fans, that sort of thing. That's just about the bottom line. And at the end of the day, when people are when people are going to games and supporting teams for guys who've done DUIs, uh, sexual assault, using performance enhancing drugs, any other kind of substance abuse, I don't know how a guy who is merely trying to state an injustice that's going on in the country about a particular race, how it compares or how it is worse than uh, players uh, committing actual crimes. As I heard Shannon Sharp say on Fox Sports 1 on Undisputed, the man has not done anything to where he should be condemned from his livelihood and be able to play. There are people all the time that always will boycott something for some reason. And if I got Colin Kaepernick on my team, it doesn't mean that I necessarily support what he says or even support his action, not what he says. Because, again, as Shannon Sharp said, everybody's always focusing on him kneeling for the flag, but nobody is still addressing the reason why he's kneeling when the Pledge of Allegiance is being, or not the Pledge of Allegiance, the Star Spangled Banner, whatever, the national anthem is being played. So nobody still won't address that. There's been no quarterbacks that I think I've heard speak out in support of him as well. I didn't really want to address this, but I guess I'll do it since I've already started. But again, at the end of the day, he's committed no crime. He's done his protest in silence. He hasn't tried to cause a stir. And again, everybody's sitting here focusing on what he's done, but nobody cares about what it actually is that he has a problem with. And that's the government not trying to do something about what seems to be a problem of police problems with African Americans. So until somebody speaks out concerning that, whether it be from a football perspective or from a perspective where it has some kind of effect, then I'm going to support Colin Kaepernick. As for Michael Vick, kind of what do you expect? He was vilified for a crime and for a situation much worse than what Colin Kaepernick has done. And I guess because he's been given a second chance, now he's taking the opportunity to speak out and say whatever he wants to say. And unfortunately, sometimes it takes down another African American, or not even just another African American. He's taking down somebody else who's actually who actually has a protest about something legitimate and wants something positive to be done to protect somebody like Michael Vick in a situation if you get confronted by the police. So that's the irony about all that. And then one last thing, Michael Vick wore cornrows. So why would he want Colin Kaepernick to not wear his or cut him off? Again, like I said, if you don't pay attention to what they say, you'll be lost. You'll be lost. You'll be lost. You'll be in the woods. And then the last thing is that you just because they put a microphone in your face don't mean you need to say something. Sometimes the best thing for some people to do is to pass and not say anything at all. Especially if you've been in a situation like Michael Vick. I'm not sure if this was the platform for you to be saying something. Whether you agree with it or not, just don't say anything at all. If you're talking about not rocking the boat, I guess you're more concerned about your bottom line than about what's right and what's wrong in this country. And again, like I said, if you get yourself in a situation with the police again, or if you get yourself in a situation where the same thing Colin Kaepernick is talking about, trying to protect you, and you don't get protected, let's see what you say then. That's my rant on that. I just thought it was interesting. But I won't be saying too much more about it. So, I'll try not to say too much more about it. But I thought it was interesting that, uh, those comments from Michael Vick. Nevertheless, more football news. The only thing I want to say about Ezekiel Elliott, stay home. Herm Edwards, again, like I said, I hate addressing this kind of stuff, but I got to do it. Herm Edwards said is you got to sit him down. And what Herm Edwards doesn't understand is that the reason why he's in these situations is because he's not on the field. So when you say sit him down from being on the field, it's counterproductive to the situation. If he's got nothing to do, he'll find something to do. So really the truth of the matter is that he needs to be on the field. Somebody needs to tell him to stay out the streets, not say sit at home and therefore nothing. You don't do that. You stay at the streets. Stay at home sometimes. I don't know if you have a temper. I don't know if you can't handle when people are baiting you or people just baiting you because they want to. Man, stay at home. You got money, build your entertainment. Build you a bar. Build whatever you got to build to stay out the streets all the time. It's almost time for training camp. And you're still out there wilding out, partying, and doing stupid stuff or being in situations that get negative attention. Come on, Ezekiel. You're better than that. You're smarter than that. I don't think that he's done any of these things that they say he did, except for, of course, driving the 100, but he's disputing that. But as for hitting the guy at the bar, I don't think he did it. But unfortunately, the media is not into reporting anything that's factual. It's reporting rumors. It's reporting allegations. Nobody reports anything factual anymore. They got to be the first to report something just in case it might be true. So at the end of the day, you're guilty until proven innocent. And while you're waiting on that, your image is being tarnished until then. So there's been a lot of criticism of Ezekiel Elliott. But at the end of the day, there's some real stupid humans out there. And unfortunately, they want to make a name for themselves to agitate athletes, famous people, whatever, to get money, to get 15 minutes of fame. And that's not fair on that end. And famous people or athletes should not have to seclude themselves because people act stupid. And so that's the one thing that gets missed, whether it's Ezekiel Elliott or anybody else. People need to stay home. If your only intention is to go out and agitate people, stay your ass at home. It doesn't make any sense. It's simple as that. Let the man enjoy life. Just because he plays football and he has a little bit of money doesn't give you the reason to agitate him. And he shouldn't have to be restricted to home because other humans don't know how to act. Okay. It is reported that the Steelers offered Le'Veon Bell a 6-year deal, 2 years guaranteed, and that's why it was declined. Le'Veon Bell was diplomatic in saying that maybe he just has to get better. Y'all know how I feel about NFL contracts. They're the biggest scams in all of sports. The funny thing about them is, as I've probably ranted before about, is that players are often condemned when they want to hold out for more money, but nobody ever condemns the teams for releasing them before the contract is up, and their only basis for releasing them a lot of times is because of money. What do you call it? Financial differences. If a player is seriously hurt, they might not think that player can contribute anymore, so they can get rid of him. But I never hear anybody ridicule the owners or show support for the players in those particular situations. But the minute a player holds out, honor your contract. The hell is honor your contract when the owners don't do it? I don't want to hear any more about honor your contract. These players, they're severely underpaid for the sport that they play and the risk that they take. They ought to be smart and hold out. If enough of them hold out, maybe something can be done. But they are so brainwashed into thinking that they need this sport and they need to play, to where they end their holdout because they want money in their pocket, and they'll play for these pennies, still risking their life. It's no different. And so that's the bad thing. That is the bad thing. So those are the things that's what's bad about it. But in 3 years, new CBA is going to have to be negotiated. The players need to really light a fire on the player representative or the representative for the players, because they're getting raw deals, and that's a bad thing. The starters are getting younger that are playing for NFL teams, and these NFL teams are taking advantage of it. Why? Because the rookies have a rookie scale on how much they can make for a certain amount of years, 3 to 4 years. So that's the trick behind it. Because they're limited on that, teams are saying, well, we need to be younger so we can get more money out of them. If you sit them down for 3 years, then they're in their prime come year 4, year 5, year 6. Then you got to pay them more money. You don't want to have to pay anybody more money after they've just been sitting doing nothing for 3 or 4 years. So you want to get what you can out of them now. And then if they don't pan out, you ain't got to worry about paying them nothing when they get to year 5, 6, and 7, because they haven't done anything to show for it. But also you can do a better job of scaling that. So that's the thing there. NFL teams are getting a little bit smarter. They're not paying the older players, even though they're the ones who put in the work. They're saying, hey, we'll take our chances with the younger players because it'll cost less. And then also, if we're throwing them out there, then we can get them at a discounted price, and we're getting more usage out of them then. Like the average lifespan of a NFL player, the average lifespan is about 6 years. And for most of those players, it's about 9 years, depending on the position. The ones who last longest are your kickers, your punters, and your quarterbacks, because everybody's designed to protect the quarterbacks, and the kickers and punters don't see a lot of action to where they should be getting hurt. Everybody else, that lifespan is 9 years, and on the average it's 6 years. Why? Because anything can happen. So players, when that new CBA comes up, get your money. Don't take no for an answer. And I know it's harder for me to tell you, when I'm not the one playing, but at the end of the day, get yourself a college education. Have something to fall back on. Yes, it ain't millions, but it's something that you can do until these owners come around. Football is a big business, and what you don't understand, everybody's trying to sell you on your needing to play football. The owners need you. They need you too. They need the best in the business, or they can't make money. Now, yes, there's always a sucker born every minute that want to play anyway. But hey, man, you got to You gotta be smart about it. Is it worth the rest of your life to go out there and risk yourself for pennies? Go figure. Go figure, guys. Um, One final note about the NFL. I thought it was interesting that it's been a struggle for wide receivers and running backs to get paid. Wide receivers are required to catch any passes that the quarterback throws, and they risk running across the middle, what have you. When you got head hunting linebackers and safeties trying to bust them up, running backs head on with defensive linemen and linebackers and safeties coming up to hit them. It's hard for them to get paid. I thought that was very interesting. Your top four QBs, highest paid QBs, between the four, won Super Bowl title. One Super Bowl title between the top four paid QBs. So that tells you who's not in that group. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, they're not in that top four. Priorities are out of order. Somebody needs to help the owners figure that out. And the Players Union need to start working on it right now. You got 3 years to get it together. Couple of basketball notes. Manu Ginobili is close to re-signing with the Spurs. I hope it's for the league minimum, but if they're going through all that, then it ain't for the league minimum. I think they might be trying to do a little prorated deal like they did for Tim Duncan. That'll help as well. But we'll see what happens from there. I think he's a good guy to come off the bench and give us some quality minutes. So we'll see how it works out. Other than the addition of Rudy Gay, this will probably be a very similar team, even though we lost Simmons and what's his name, Dedmon, Simmons and Dedmon. It's going to look pretty similar. So we'll see how it pans out. We got a lot of young talent. I don't know how that's going to pan out in the league now because you got big teams building up with veteran players. So our young guys are going to have to really come around, or we could face the same demise that we faced this year, and that's being out in the second round. That's because we're the Spurs, and we're always a hard out. We're going to make it tough. But our youth may be a problem this year. Hopefully, LaMarcus Aldridge comes back with rejuvenated vigor. I think this is last year of his contract, so I think he'll try to ball out because he wants that big contract down the line. I need Paul to play like he's not going to play anymore, and so he'll ball out this year. So we'll need to see that. And then Danny Green, if I can get 10 to 12 points a game from you, that's all we need to win. That's all we need to win. If you do the math on the games we've lost, let me know if Danny Green hit between 10 and 12 points. And if he didn't, you take that difference and add it to it. Tell me how many games we've won. Danny Green hits 10 to 12 points. Now, for the NBA starts on October 17th, about 2 weeks earlier than they normally start. And that's because they want to have less of those back-to-backs. So there'll be more to talk about down the line. The Rockets are for sale. Yes, the owner bought the team between 85 and 95 million, and they're saying that the team is rumored to be worth 1.7 billion. I don't know what else they add in there other than the team salary and the arena. The arena is about 235 million. The team salary is probably around 120 million. So that makes it about 350 million. Where the rest comes from, I have to look that up. But I'm intrigued to find out what the rest of that is. I probably should have looked it up when I wrote all this down. And I think that probably has a little bit. First of all, nobody's just going to buy them for that flat amount right there. The other thing is, if there's any overage or that or overhead. But then the other thing is, it's an NBA franchise. People are going to want to buy it. So with the bidding, it could be as high as 1.7 billion. So he's trying to flip something big to buy it for between 85 and 95 million and then sell it for 1 billion. Man, wish I had a couple of dollars to spare like that where I could just buy a franchise and then flip it and I think he's owned the team for about 20 years. Flipping about 20 years, 25 years. 95 is when he bought it. Flipping in about 22 years. And you gotta love it. If you're buying a team now, you're paying a pretty penny for it now. So Interesting in itself, right there. My last rant is about Jermaine Taylor. Jermaine Taylor is a former boxing champion in one of his weight classes. Um, he has been arrested for biting a woman and threatening to kill her. The only thing I have to say about this is, we always talk about football players and the pounding that they take playing football. And we talk about CT and head injuries. Why doesn't anybody ever want to examine boxers? I mean, they get hit in the head every time they step into a ring. Probably getting hit in the head for 10 to 12 rounds, 3 minutes each round, 60 to 90 minutes, or 60 to 30 to 36 minutes. You're getting hit in the head, and nobody checks you for that. They have domestic violence problems. They have anger problems. They do crazy things, that sort of thing. So, trying to figure out why nobody's checking on that. Just thought why anybody isn't checking on boxers in CTE. But man, it's already clear as day. That's they got to be suffering from that. And the last thing boxing needs right now is to be taking a hit for health issues and therefore problems. So it makes sense. But you got to be a little crazy to go in there and just risk getting hit in the head for whatever amount of money. Like I said, how many boxers live to be 70, 80 years old and not have any health issues up here? Anyway, something to think about. That was been my spill for today. Something to think about. Lastly, I'm going to talk a little bit of music. I was made hip to a guy named Daniel Caesar. Some R&B. It's not rap. It's R&B. Pretty good guy. Take a listen. I'm gonna take a listen to some more of his music. But I heard a couple of cuts. I think one of them is "Get You," something like that. Oh man, I should have wrote it down. Anyway, he's a pretty good guy. Check him out if you get a chance. Daily, European singer. Um, Check him out. His new CD came out on the 14th, which was Friday. I listened to it. It doesn't quite grab me like that first one did. The first one was just off the chain. It was very good. Days and Nights was very good. This one uh, got a couple of cuts that grabbed me, but the whole CD didn't seem like it was everything that was on there. But hey, I'll give it more listen. I'm a sports fan, so I'll definitely do that, and we'll go from there. But anyway, that's my music minute. Daniel Caesar and Daily, Daly. Those are guys that I recommend that you check out on the music scene. That is my spill for today. As always, if anything big comes up, I'll let you guys know. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. God bless, and free Colin Kaepernick. Peace.